Hello everyone. So this video, as it is self-evident in the title, is about whether or not Somali people are black. The short answer to that question is yes, and you may ask why. The reason why is because the concept of race is socially constructed. So that means it doesn't technically exist except by human definition. But living in a post-racialized world, I think the subject of race is important to understand, even if the concept of race is made up, because there are certain ramifications that come with the idea of race today that are in some ways irreversible. And we cannot ignore this when we're living in a post-racialized world where people are oppressed just based on how they look. Actually, just this year, a Somali man named Abdurrahman Abdi was shot by the police due to police brutality towards black people. So there are enough Somali people who claim to be non-black that I kind of feel like this is an important issue. And even Professor Omar Inu, I think, the director of the National Somali Bantu Project, talks about this identity crisis that Somalis have today. You'll hear some Somali people saying we're Arab, even though Arab isn't a race or an ethnicity. Or some Somali people will say that, Somali people are Caucasian. There's just not much uniformity within the Somali community when it comes to identity. But let's just get right into the crux of this video. So let's take a look at what others have said about Somalis or Somalia. So when Ibn Battuta traveled to the land of Barbar, aka Eastern Africa, he recorded seeing, quote, "The people of Zela are a black color and most of them are Shias," in his book The Traveling Man, The Journey of Ibn Battuta, 1325 through 1354. So that was when he went to Somalia in the 1300s, that was when he went to East Africa in the 1300s, which he mostly saw black people there, black in color. So why are Somali people so confused? Well, firstly, Somalis have unfortunately falsified lineages, which when you do that, of course you won't know the truth. In The Invention of Somalia by Ali Jamal Ahmed, he talks about the reason Somali people falsified their lineages is mostly due to the fact that in the Islamic world, the closer you are to the Prophet and lineage, the more political power you might have. Secondly, Somalia is known to have inhabited different races, which would explain the variety of looks Somali people have. Those who have settled in Somalia include Persians, Indians, and Europeans, from colonization. The name Mogadishu is just one of the names that prove that the Persians left their influence, because Mogadishu is a Persian name and it's named after the capital of Somalia. So in the book The Travels of Ibn Battuta, he talks about how Indians were on the African coast since the mid-1300s. So of course mixing or miscegenation happened, because that's just kind of inevitable when people settle in a land amongst other populations. So that might contribute to why some other people might be confused, because since mixing happened with different races, there's such a variety in what some other people look like today. Thirdly, the reason why some Somali people are confused is because when Europeans started exploring Africa in the 19th century, before European colonization of East Africa, they said that Oromos, some Sudanese, and some Ethiopians are from the Caucasoid race. So that's why you might find some random Somali people saying that we're white. How they determined this was based off the shape of the head shape of the skull. However, using head shape alone to determine race is a pseudoscience practice, and race should not just be determined based on the skull shape of one's head. So in conclusion, many Somali people gene pool have been mixed with other genes from invasions, colonizations, and mixing with other communities that settled there. However, when you take in consideration the social status that everyone else puts Somali people in, that category is nothing except black. Yes, there are Somali people who are very light in complexion, or look Indian, or have a very straight nose, and they do have certain privileges when it comes to beauty standards. but socially Somali people are black. So, to my Somali people, Arabs do not take ownership of you. When you go to Saudi Arabia, you're called Abid, and white people don't accept you either, because when you go to the States and Canada, you're grouped in a category with the rest of black people that's there. So I hope more Somali people begin to realize, in the context of white supremacy and Arab supremacy, that they are black in that sense, even if they don't look how you might call the stereotypical black person or African person. You are black in the context of white supremacy and Arab supremacy. So that's all, and I hope you found this video a little bit informative, and until next time.